Okay, today we're going to do a Cas4 module on a 2011 BMW 528i. That's the Cas4 module. With this particular model, we do not need to read the ISN. We're just going to do direct programming. We're going to read the data from the Cas4 with the ACDP. And we are going to program a new key. Now we have two keys here. We're only going to program one. The reason we have two keys because it uses two different frequencies. We won't know until we read the CAS module. So we have both keys here just to be on the safe side. Now a little quick fact before we get started. You have two versions of each key. You have for the FEM module, which is this key. This key you can use on the Cas4 as well as FEM and BDM. Now it's a little bit more expensive than just the this key, the Cas4 key, which you can use on some FEM also for the 3 series. But for the SUVs and the newer models, you would need this key. You can only stock this key in both frequencies if you so choose. I know a lot of people who do, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But some customers are picky and they want what they had, so I just keep everything there available. So now we got our Cas4, and we're going to use the Cas4 adapter. See, it says Cas4 and Cas4 Plus. And we have our pins that hold it on, along with this little clip here, fiberglass clip. So the first screw goes in right at the corner here. You're going to need two, one that goes through and the other one that connects. Tighten those two up, nice and tight. That's on there. It should look like that. Now, on the board itself, your reading adapter, you have 4 pins. These 4 here, these 4 pins don't read. These 4 pins hold it steady. These other pins here are the reading pins, right? So make sure that these 4 pins are in these little, I don't know if you can see them, these little tiny holes here. They line up in those holes. Make sure that they go into those holes to avoid an inability to read the module. You can hear them click. You heard it click there. Let you know it landed in the right spot. You can jiggle it a little bit just to make sure. Put your other little bolt here to hold down that side, and then your little fiberglass clip to hold down the opposite side. There are 2 styles of this. The older version comes straight across, connects here, and then there's another hole on this side. It would come straight across and connect to that hole. Simplified it and just made it just a small unit here and gave you this little fiberglass clip to hold it. That's it. Now, 12-volt power supply for the ACDP plugged in, then the OBP adapter with the ribbon. The larger ribbon comes with 2 ribbons, a large ribbon and a small ribbon. 90% of the time you're going to use the large ribbon no matter what you use. Use the small ribbon usually on FEM and BDMs. But they're all inside the box with the ACDP, so you shouldn't have an issue. Slide that on there. This little adapter comes in the box with the CAS adapters. CAS adapters you have for Cas4, 4 Plus, and then Cas3, 3 Plus. Smaller adapter. Same little piece here. The BDM adapter connects onto here. Same concept. See, this has two little pins here where you would bolt it onto the board. The other thing you need to pay attention to when you're doing this, when you actually open the software, and I'll take this off so you can see it better, is there's, let me take off the top one here. There's what's called a mask number on the processor, and when you open up the software, it's going to ask you for that mask number. It's not going to ask you for the make and model or anything like that. It's going to ask you for this mask number. There are 3 rows of numbers here. The one in the middle is the mask number. On this car, it is a 5M48H. I don't know if you can see it. You see it? That middle number, that's the mask number. You need to know that number. You need to have that number when you open up the software to actually do the read, or else it's going to fail or ask you for information that you don't need. So please pay attention to that. Very important. So I'm going to put this back together. Let's take this adapter off and put this back on. Now, be careful with this. You don't want to knock off a resistor or transistor by accident. You can see you heard the little clicks. Let me know that it should be lined up properly. Tighten up this little bolt first. Then come here. You're in the wrong place. That's not a consequence, but I just like to keep things the way how they're supposed to be without this is bothering me. Let me take it off. Slide it under. Again, you have to be careful with this. I'm being a little bit reckless. I'm going to take this all the way off and line it back properly. Like I said, you can wiggle it a little bit, make sure everything lines up properly. You hear all the little clicks letting you know that everything is snapping into place. Tighten that back up, wiggle it a little bit again, make sure everything is in order. You can actually visually take a look and see. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see, you know, it goes into these little corresponding holes on the board. And like I said, those big ones are just for stabilization, to let you know you're in the right place. Alright, so we're set back up here now. We got the adapters on, cables connected, ACDP is powered up. One other thing I'm pretty sure if you already know, this is my mobile hotspot. This is my tablet. These two are dedicated solely to this. A lot of people use their laptop, or their laptop is fine. A lot of people use their phone and what's not. I don't like using the phone because for me, you're using your phone has too many distractions, because if you get a phone call during the middle of it, or you're just in a bad area or whatever, you're more likely to lose or have a weaker signal, so it'll slow down or inhibit the process. So for me personally, I got the tablet, and whether they're using the mobile hotspot from one device to power it, because you can't just use your mobile data from your phone if you choose to use your phone. It has to see an external hotspot or external Wi-Fi for some reason. It's just the way I was designed, but like I said, to eliminate issues, this is how I personally set it up. You don't have to. You can do like most people who just use their phone with a hotspot. The only thing is you have to have a dedicated hotspot for it, because it has to recognize that hotspot every time in order for, Is that how it works? It has to recognize the hotspot, and it has to recognize the same device you loaded the software on in order for the tool to work. That's my only criticism on it. I understand it's a security thing. It's to make sure that the data can flow properly and there are no corruptions and what's not, which is understandable, but it can be a little bit of a hassle, especially if you're not the most technically savvy. But if you're not the most technically savvy, probably shouldn't do this. Okay, so basically, I'm just waiting on the tablet to finish an update. It started on its own. It recognized the Wi-Fi and decided it wanted to update. So I'm gonna just pause you for a second so that we can finish that update. One quick thing I would say though, with this particular system, as long as you have a good internet connection and you have no problems reading the pins, the whole process shouldn't take more than about 20 minutes. That's from taking it out of the car, connecting everything, reading, and programming the key. It's a really, really good tool. It works fairly simply once you have it already installed. It's not complicated. So, give me 2 minutes. Okay, so we're back. Software is up and running. Gonna open up. Okay, so we're back. ACDP is open. We're gonna select BMW on the screen. Okay, real quick. If you see here, it shows the serial number for the machine. It says ACDP, and it shows you the serial for the unit. That lets you know that the unit is connected. If you don't see that, then the unit's not connected. You won't be able to do anything. So, the unit's connected. We're gonna tap on BMW. Then we're gonna go to CAS 1 through 4. And then we're gonna go CAS 4 and 4 plus. And we're going to ICP mode. And remember that mask number? So the mask number on this one is the 5M. So you select on the mask number, immobilizer or emo. And read CAS. Okay, please connect. It's telling you. No, we're not ready to connect that yet. Okay, everything is connected. Press OK. It's telling you to connect this module here. So it's checking the pins, like I told you. It's checking pins. It lights up and everything, letting you know it's checking. Detecting pins. That's these here. These are the pins here, it's the ones it's checking. Now it'll tell you if it's not able to read any of these pins. They'll come up in red. Once it's finished reading, you'll see all the pins. See, they're all in green, so it read everything. If any of them come up in red, you can look on the board here on the adapter as to which pin it is, and you can try and just jiggle that particular pin to connect. And then press retry, and then it'll go through. So we're pressing OK. Now it's going to read all the data. Now that it does a check and it says that okay, all the pins are connected, now it's actually going to read the data. This part takes about 2 or 3 minutes for it to read. There we go. So, see here now, current version, CAS4, gives you the VIN number, successfully read. Press OK. It's backing everything up. Alright. Now, you're gonna do, you have two choices at this point. You can do add a key with a working key, which you don't really need necessarily. Then you have all keys lost, Cas4, no ISN needed, Cas4 plus ISN needed. This is a 2011. You don't need an ISN. 13 and up, you need ISN on this particular model. So we're going to select the second option. What's going on with my screen here? I think the case is touching the screen and causing problems. Alright, so now we've read the data. We're going to disconnect the reading adapter and connect the key adapter. Alright. Press OK. Now you have to be very careful. See, I touched the power cable incorrectly. It kind of pulled it out a little bit and then pushed it back in. And see, it's coming up saying an abnormal reset of the device. So that created a little bit of a problem. So we have to just start back over. We've already read the CAS module, so that part we don't have to do. We can just go straight into the mode. Now I want you to put a blank key in. I'm going to put the 315 megahertz in. Cas4. Okay. Now it comes in order, in the order that you did it. So on the first one on top is the most recent. So see, remember I told you now. It comes back and see, it tells you now it's a 315 megahertz. Well, that's the key that we already have in here, so that's fine. It gives you back the VIN number, tells you the CAS version again. Press OK. Now we're going to select the slot that we want to put it in. Typically you'll work from the bottom up. Sometimes using number 9 for me personally it doesn't work, so I'll just go to number 7. Press OK. Now it's going to generate that key file onto that key. In the meantime, you can, while it's doing that, you can start taking apart back the Cas4 module. Key successfully generated. And it's just giving you basic information of what to do next. Once you put everything back in the car, to hold the key next to the steering column on the where the coil is, to learn the new key. On some models it'll give you the option of direct learning, which with the direct learning process you don't have to do this afterwards. You don't have to hold the key up next to it afterwards. It just automatically writes it directly into the CAS or FEM. But on this particular model, it's suggesting for us to hold it next to it. So we're essentially done at this point. We're going to test it in a second. Hold on. Okay, we're back in the car. We've plugged in the Cas4 module. That's the key. You hold it up to the side of the steering column where the picture of the key is, like that, and then you press the start button and it lights up the dash. It reads the key rather. Turn it off, make sure your power locks work. That's the only thing. See, if you don't use the correct frequency, it'll light up the dash and start the car, but your remote functions won't work. So let's get to pedal and we'll test start it. There we go. Starts right up. And we're done. Told you, 20 minutes.